Right now, local drivers have likely already noticed a big change on Madison roads. The tips to help you navigate the new bus rapid transit system. Plus, we're 43 days away now from the election. What former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are doing to shore up support in battleground states today. And the University of Wisconsin-Madison sees a boost in its student population. The growth being reported for this year's freshman class. It's all ahead. Join us for News 3 Now at 10. Well, the Madison clerk's office says it has fixed an error that caused duplicate absentee ballots to be sent to about 2,000 voters. Now, the city says it's been contacting voters individually to inform them of this error. Voters with a second ballot should only submit one of them and destroy the second to avoid any confusion. Those ballots have identical barcodes, so only one would be counted in the event that a voter submits two of them. The error only affected voters in one ward, and the city says the issue's been corrected, so it will not affect any other ballots moving forward. Well, Madison's new bus rapid transit system routes are in service today. That new system actually launched yesterday, but today was the first day that students and workers in Madison used it for their daily commutes. Rapid Route A is the red one in service. It travels between Junction Road on the far west side all the way over to Sun Prairie Park and Ride, and the buses are scheduled to come every 15 minutes. We spoke with Mick Roosh, the Chief Development Officer at Metro Transit this morning, and he's reminding everyone to be patient as the system rolls out. It is new to bus drivers just as much as the passengers.
Overnight, we went to a third of our fleet is all electric vehicles, so we're still getting used to those buses. So drivers are getting acquainted with that. Drivers were trained all summer to drive BRT routes, but yesterday was the first day it was actually in service, so everyone was getting used to that. So it's just a lot of getting used to everything.
And a couple more changes to be aware of. You'll now need to cross the street to one of the bus stops in the center of the road instead of stops on the side of the road. The fast fare cards are now in use. Readers are located at all bus entrances, and because of that, you can now board the bus through the front, middle, or back door. And there are city workers helping people at the bus stops. The regular vehicle drivers are trying to figure out how to navigate BRT on the roads. The big thing is stay out of those bus lanes in your cars. If you're driving on red pavement, you're going to want to switch lanes and leave it for the bus. Some sections have white checkered lanes where you can actually move into part of the red lane and make a left turn. One local driving instructor has some tips for how to navigate through those new lanes.
You're not supposed to drive in the bus lane, but of course I don't suggest you swerve out in front of another car either.
Metro Transit giving people some wiggle room as well to adjust to the new norm. So for now, you don't have to worry about getting a ticket for accidentally driving in that red lane. Well, it's been a cool start to the week. We should warm up soon. Let's check in with meteorologist Blaze Keller now for when we can expect a bit of a warm-up, Blaze.
And that warm-up arrives as we head into your Thursday and continues into your Friday. Until then, we're going to stick with these fall-like temperatures and maybe squeeze out a few remaining light showers here as we go overnight into your Tuesday. But a lot of us are probably going to stay dry. I'll take it into maybe where there could be a shower or two moving into far northeastern parts of Crawford County, maybe just hanging out north and west of Eastman and Prairie du Chien. Otherwise, we're quiet at least for now. But Future Track is going to continue to try to bring in a few showers here, especially, I would say, in parts of Walworth County, Jefferson County, and then folks farther towards the south and east. And much like tonight, you may not see any showers, especially if you live farther west, because you're farther away from this center of low pressure's center. But you can track it out on our First Warn weather app if you are going outside tomorrow to see if you're going to be underneath one of those showers. In the meantime, 50s and 60s for current temperatures, a mix of partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions. We're going to hang out in the 40s and 50s tonight. There have been some changes in maybe the path of our next big rainmaker, so we'll track that out in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A Madison man is arrested after officers say he smashed the windows of several businesses on State Street. About 4 this morning, Madison police were alerted to a disturbance on State near the Contemporary Museum of Art. A 31-year-old was found with a brick in his hands and was arrested. He's facing charges of damage to property, bail jumping, and recklessly endangering safety. Our News 3 Now crew found 2 businesses. Metric Forest Studio and Little Luxuries were damaged. Metric Forest Studio is set to hold its grand opening ceremony this coming Friday. A federal agency's new report shows that violent crime is trending down across the nation. According to the FBI, overall violent crime declined 3% in 2023. Murders and non-negligent manslaughter saw a nearly 12% drop. In 2020, homicides rose by almost 30% over the previous year. That was the largest one-year jump since the FBI started taking records. The White House says while these decreasing numbers are a good sign, there is still more work to be done.
We're definitely not done. But I think we're driving towards, being free from gun violence. You might not know this, but in Boston, they've seen less than 15 homicides for the entire year, city of Boston, right? Those are the kind of numbers we're aspiring to, right? We're trying to get to the place where we're seeing single-digit homicides in our cities, where more people are alive than before. And so we know there's a lot more we can do.
Well, this 2023 report is based on data from more than 1,600 agencies that participate in the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. A federal judge orders the suspect in former President Donald Trump's apparent assassination attempt to be held in custody until his trial. In a new Justice Department court filing, the FBI said a fingerprint found on a piece of tape attached to the rifle recovered from the Trump International Golf Course preliminarily matches that of Ryan Wesley Ruth. He's currently facing 2 federal firearms charges, but prosecutors indicated they'll ask a grand jury to seek a charge of attempted assassination of a political figure. Former President Trump returns to the Badger State this weekend, set to deliver remarks in Prairie du Chien on Saturday. He'll be at the Prairie du Chien Area Arts Center at 11:30 in the morning. Former president is expected to speak about the border and immigration. We'll have a link on our website for those looking to sign up for that event. And the presidential candidates are focusing their efforts on key battleground states with 6 weeks to go before the election. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry now with more from the campaign trail in Washington.
Former President Donald Trump returned to Pennsylvania for a Monday night rally.
Kamala Harris is reportedly given a speech in Pittsburgh. You know, her speeches are very short. About her plan to, quote, build wealth. She doesn't know anything about building wealth.
The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows the race a dead heat in the Keystone State.
What really counts are the battleground states, the key states that will decide the election in the Electoral College, and there it's much tighter. It's +2 Harris. This represents a small shift towards Harris following the debate.
No second debate is scheduled between Harris and Trump. Over the weekend, the vice president said she has accepted an invitation to debate, but so far, Trump is saying he has no plans to do it.
Join me on the debate stage. Let's have another debate. There's more to talk about, and the voters of America deserve to hear the conversations that I think we should be having on substance, on issues, on policies. What's your plan? What's my plan?
Trump says it's too late, adding that early voting is already getting underway. This week, Trump is on a battleground state blitz, which includes stops in North Carolina, Georgia, and Michigan. Harris is also ramping up her campaign schedule with stops planned in Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
And we're continuing our 3 for the People series this week with a deeper look at what impact the election may have on the U.S. involvement in the war between Israel and Hamas. Last week, pagers used by hundreds of members of the militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon exploded, killing at least 25 and injuring more than 600. Israel has not officially claimed responsibility for that attack. Political science professor John Peavyhouse says if Israel and Lebanon descended to war, both Vice President Harris and former President Trump may try to frame this as a war to keep Iran at bay and claim they need Israel as an ally.
And that this is part of a greater kind of remaking of the Middle East. Whether they can effectively do that, the exact points they'll make will be slightly different. But I think that will be the overall takeaway, is that this gives both candidates a chance to really kind of read past the entire thing. And in some ways, it will kind of overshadow what's going on in Gaza.
Today, Israel launched strikes in Lebanon. Authorities say more than 490 people were killed. That includes 90 women and children, the deadliest day of conflict since back in 2006. UW-Madison enrolls its second largest freshman class ever this year. More than 8,500 freshmen are attending classes here in Madison. More than 1,200 of those students will have their full tuition covered by one of the university's financial aid initiatives. And these students were drawn from a record-setting 65,000 applicant pool for this year's freshman class. The university also welcomed nearly 1,400 new transfer students to campus. U.S. Department of Education releases its 2024 list of national blue ribbon schools, and Eastside Elementary School in Sun Prairie is among the 365 institutions being recognized. That designation highlights schools that excel in academic performance or make significant strides in closing achievement gaps among different student groups. A National Blue Ribbon Award flag will be displayed in the school's entryway as an emblem of exceptional teaching and learning. After the break, Blaze will rejoin us to tell us about this week's warm-up in temperatures, plus treating symptoms of CTE, how a recent Harvard survey is giving doctors some new insight into the disease.
I'm Matt, and I'm a former Trump voter. One of my biggest beefs with Donald Trump is that with him, anybody who doesn't agree with him is a radical, is a lunatic, is a leftist, a Marxist, a communist, somebody out to destroy America. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris because I don't want to live in a world that's all about hatred and retribution and getting even with your neighbors and getting rid of people who are different from me.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Ford Truck Month, with big offers on the trucks that don't subscribe to the word impossible. Like the off-road ready Ranger, the adaptable Maverick, plus F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, featuring the 2024 Ford F-150, and Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year, all with offers that make owning one possible. This is Ford Truck Month. Choose FlexBuy on F-150 and get 0.9 for 66, plus 2,000 FlexBuy cash, 1,000 low APR cash, plus 1,000 open bonus cash.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals, and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Dear unbreakable spirit, when the terrain is gnarly, you steady us. When obstacles are ahead, you lift us. When the turf is hostile, you inspire us. Own a legend. Toyota Trucks.
Right now, you can lease a tough new 2024 Tacoma for $319 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
You don't need to battle addiction alone. Contact the great people at Wood Violet Recovery today. You could be on your way to recovery the same day. Wood Violet Recovery works with a wide range of insurance networks, so a large portion of your treatment may be covered. Wood Violet Recovery will create the treatment plan that best suits your needs. Unlike other rehab facilities, phones and laptops are welcome. Today may feel dark, but there's a brighter tomorrow. Contact Wood Violet Recovery now.
News 3 Now is focusing on the issues and the races that matter where you live, with 3 for the people.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues, and fact-checking it all, so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. A significant number of former NFL players believe they have chronic traumatic encephalopathy, otherwise known as CTE. Nearly 2,000 players participated in a Harvard University questionnaire on perceived CTE symptoms. More than a third self-reported that they believe they have the disease. The study participants describe having cognitive difficulties, headaches, low testosterone, and other symptoms stemming from their days on the field. The study's author says while CTE cannot be treated, doctors can help with many of the symptoms.
While we can't go back and change the fact that they had head injury, and we can't know if they actually have it, there's actually so much that we can do that we learned from this study, such as can we go after their low testosterone, their depression? Can we go after sleep apnea? And all these things that are actually impacting their cognitive function now that we can do something about.
Now, in the group of players who think they have CTE, a quarter said they have frequent suicidal thoughts. The disease can currently only be diagnosed after death with an autopsy. Billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates and award-winning musician Jon Batiste are teaming up to fight hunger and malnutrition. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's annual Goalkeepers Report notes that more than 400 million children worldwide are not getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive. The report highlights concrete actions to save lives, including increasing milk production by 2 to 3 times, adding nutrients to household staples, and expanding access to prenatal vitamins.
We've traditionally given pregnant women 2 vitamins, folic acid and iron, and those are beneficial. But what we found through our studies was adding 13 more in, which surprisingly only costs a little more than $1, that really improves the outcomes.
Now, the report also looks at the impact of climate change on child malnutrition, forecasting an additional 40 million children will have stunted growth by the year 2050. Federal health officials are getting the word out that flu vaccinations can be life-saving for children, and now is the time to do it. The CDC reported nearly 200 children died from the flu last year. Most were eligible for the flu vaccine but did not receive one. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends everyone 6 months of age and older get the annual flu vaccine, but the uptake was down last year with just 54% of children vaccinated. Children under 5 are at high risk for flu complications, as well as older adults, pregnant women, and people with underlying health conditions. And there's a new weapon against the flu. The FDA giving the green light to an at-home version of the flu vaccine. Flu Mist is a nasal spray that's been used to protect against flu in the U.S. since 2003. It's currently available with a prescription in pharmacies and other health care settings for those ages 2 to 49 who are not pregnant. This option is expected to be available in time for the start of next year's respiratory virus season. And with the new COVID variant on the rise now, the U.S. government is making more at-home COVID-19 tests available for free. Each household will be able to order a new round of 4 free at-home test kits. The new test kits will be available by the beginning of October. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reporting more than 900 million test kits have been delivered through this program. Well, nearly 165 million people have an important item on their to-do list in the coming weeks, and that's enrolling in their employment-sponsored health insurance plan. There's an alphabet soup of options here: HMO versus PPO, and FSA, which is often use it or lose its savings, versus the HSA, which requires a high deductible plan that potentially requires more spending up front. And then there's also the time spent considering all these options.
The typical worker spends something like 15 minutes a year picking their health plan. The best advice I could give is to spend more time than that to make sure you understand how the plan works, what it covers, what it doesn't.
Spend a little bit of time in figuring out how you would navigate your coverage when you need it, because often when you need it is not the best time to try to figure it out.
And if you don't have health insurance through your work or other sources like Medicare or Medicaid, you may be able to get coverage through the U.S. Health Insurance Marketplace. Open enrollment for 2025 begins November 1st and runs through January 15th. There's a chance for some showers overnight, but we should stay dry for the rest of the week. Let's check in with meteorologist Blaze Keller in our firstborn forecast. Blaze?
That's right. You know, we are coming off the heels of a very wet 4 days from the 19th through the 22nd. Not only did the Madison area, but a lot of southern Wisconsin picked up a lot of their month total rain. In the Madison area specifically, picked up over 5 inches of rain, with only 2/100ths of an inch prior to that from the 1st through the 18th. So that brings our total up to now 5.16 inches of rain for the month, which is now the 21st wettest 1st through the 23rd on record. And before that, from the 1st to the 18th, we were looking at possibly one of the driest Septembers on record. We got a lot of necessary, albeit heavy rain. And now we could still see a few light showers as we head overnight into your Tuesday. The good news is for folks who want to dry out, farther to the west, you're probably going to skip out on a lot of this activity because the center of this surface low, and it's a weak one, is more into the Chicagoland area. So what that means is it's going to keep a lot of that moisture closer to its center than expanding back north and westward. So I would say folks east of Dane County, Rock County, maybe even Greene County as well, you're going to have the best chance for an isolated, maybe light to moderate rain shower as we go into your Tuesday. But a lot of us are going to sit underneath partly sunny to mostly cloudy conditions. An area of high pressure comes in and clears out those clouds as we go into your Wednesday, keeps us sunny for your Thursday. And then starting Friday, things start to change, and that's because of this right here. This is our next tropical system, likely to become a Category 2, maybe 3 hurricane. But even in the last hour, the cone of uncertainty, the tool that the National Hurricane Center meteorologists use to kind of map out where the hurricane could go, has actually shifted more towards Indiana. Previously, it had its remnants moving back towards Illinois. That doesn't necessarily mean we won't see any rain, but it does maybe take away some of that more heavy moisture as we look towards the weekend. But we'll still keep an eye out for any remaining activity that may get cut off from the remnants over the Texas-Oklahoma area. This is going to be the best area, if we do see some energy, to move its way northwards. And Future Track brings that in starting Sunday, late Sunday into early Monday, maybe, though, as early as Saturday night. And it's all being backed up, the jet stream, because of Helene, the next hurricane's remnants, absorbing into this big area of low pressure that's likely to be kind of slowly spinning off the northeast coast. Eventually, it all starts to slide its way, and the jet stream starts to kind of get unblocked. But that is probably going to be our next big soaking rain chance as we head into the weekend, the remnants of what will become America's next hurricane. You can see the overall rain total starting to pick up in the Chicagoland area. Again, we'll hope that maybe that slides back northwestward. We could still use, obviously, a little bit of rain, but nothing like what we saw over these last 4 days. We certainly need to dry out from that. Upper 60s to low 70s for your Tuesday. Here is a look at the bus stop forecast. Again, maybe an isolated shower by the afternoon, but I think a lot of us are going to be dry into your Tuesday. Your 7 and 10 day forecast taking us into nearly the 80s by Thursday and Friday, and then back into those low 70s and further into the 60s by this weekend into next week.
And still to come in sports, how Wisconsin volleyball got hot after a slow start and how they can keep their momentum heading into conference play. Next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. Pella manufactures, tests, installs, services, and warranties their products, meaning quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella window and door for timeless beauty and performance. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
This ad is a complete lie. The truth is, Tammy Baldwin's never shared inside information with her partner. And Tammy Baldwin's leading the fight to ban senators from purchasing any individual stocks. It's Eric Hovde, who owns a $3 billion California bank. And Hovde's bank takes millions from unknown foreign interests, meaning we'd have no idea who Eric Hovde would really be working for. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
In Luke Fickell's coaching career, he had only dealt with one injured quarterback before coming to Wisconsin. Now he's lost his starter in back-to-back years, but says there is one saving grace. Just like last year, Braden Locke steps in at QB for the Badgers, the same guy who set the Texas State record for touchdowns in high school and led the Badgers to some really good quarterbacking games last year.
So a lot of his experiences give him, me, and a lot of the guys around him, a lot more confidence because he was thrust into some really tough situations even last year. And more than anything, it comes down to him having those experiences of playing, getting thrust into an Iowa game and then going and playing against an Ohio State and preparing the way that he had to prepare to play and puts him right back into that position.
Malik Willis has been magnificent in Jordan Love's absence, but at some point you'd have to think Green Bay is going to want their $220 million man back out onto the field from his MCL sprain. But the Packers still haven't really provided any timetable, and outside of his injury designations, really anything at all. He could need yet another week, but there's also a chance we see him on the field this weekend for a crucial division opener against the Vikings.
Well, we'll see. I mean, again, I think anybody that saw what happened to him, I mean, that's a legitimate injury. So, he's working through it. He's doing everything in his power. He wants to be out there, and, we want him out there.
Wisconsin volleyball lost 3 straight matches to open the season, albeit all against top 6 teams in the country. But they've responded with a 6-match winning streak heading into conference play. But as great as it is to win, Sheffield says it's the losing streak that might have taught his group more. They played the best of the best, got to assess themselves, and improved against their other competition. So about that winning streak.
Oh, it's nice, but we also haven't been playing the top 6 teams in the country, so, I mean, we're trying to win every match. I mean, there's no doubt about it, but we're also trying to learn and grow, and those things are really, really important. We want to be great at the end of season.
Well, there's no question Sarah Franklin is great. She was named the Big Ten's Player of the Week. This comes after a dominant 3-match week that included a game against Troy where she broke the program's single-match kills record with 33. The Badgers open conference play against Minnesota on Wednesday. And coming off a terrific first season under head coach Mike Hastings, in which the Badgers surpassed just about every expectation they had, Wisconsin men's hockey opens the season 10th ranked in the USCHO preseason poll. They opened the season at home against Lindenwood on October 11th. We'll be right back.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden-Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Minwax Wood Stain is a penetrating stain that delivers color, showcasing wood grain in one single coat and dries in 1 hour. Get a quart for $15.49 plus an 11% rebate. Minwax Polycrylic is a fast-drying water-based polyurethane that provides lasting protection for all types of wood surfaces. A quart is $20.78 plus an 11% rebate. Don't forget to check out Minwax's Color of the Year for 2025, Violet.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm not old enough to vote yet, but I learned how 1 out of 6 of us will someday be raped.
So please, think about me when you vote. I learned how our freedom to have an abortion was taken away.
Even in cases of rape or incest.
Even to travel to get an abortion.
Please, think about me.
You know who got rid of Roe v. Wade.
Now women are being refused life-saving care at hospitals. And politicians are trying to ban birth control.
Please, think about me.
My parents call me their miracle daughter because I was born with IVF.
But IVF could be banned too.
Do they think we're less than human?
Do they think we can't make decisions about our own bodies? About our own lives? When you vote, please think about me.
And me.
And me.
Because the politician who got rid of Roe v. Wade, he couldn't care less.
Did you know there is no dental care for our veterans at the VA unless you are 100% disabled? Objective Veterans Smile is a nonprofit providing free dental care for our veterans, and they need our help. Sponsor a Wisconsin veteran today for just $25 a month. Click or scan to learn more now.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans. One does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Chris Stanford, News 3 Now This Morning, moving forward.
I'm Nate Burleson in Wisconsin, a possible make-or-break state in this election. I'm hitting the road and talking to voters across the political spectrum. That's coming up on CBS Mornings after News 3 Now this morning.
Wow, it's like he knows us. Take a look at this. Cell phone video captures the moment several bulls escaped in a rodeo in a parking lot by a Massachusetts mall. You don't really see this in Massachusetts too often. From the mall, these bulls walked a couple miles to a neighborhood, and one man says 6 of the bulls, they were just hanging out in his backyard for about a half an hour. A crowd of people did cheer once most of those bulls were finally captured after running free through the streets of this Massachusetts town for a few hours. Quick final check with Blaze on the forecast.
Yeah, hey, you know, an isolated shower tomorrow, but I think a lot of us are going to stay dry not only tonight, but into your day tomorrow. And a quick look at your 7 and 10-day forecast, drier in 80s by Thursday and Friday.
All right, Blaze, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10, folks. Have a great night.